Hello everyone, I am Jigyasha Chauhan and welcome back to our channel Classes for Clear. So in this video class, I am going to explain you all about Class A Civics Chapter number 3, which is Parliament and the Lawmaking. So basically in this chapter, we are going to have a closer look at Parliament and the procedure involved in lawmaking. And we will learn about the importance of the participation of the common citizens of India in the decision making process of the government and the need for all the democratic government to have the consent of their citizen, to have the participation of their citizen. So it is these elements that make our country a democratic country, because there won't be any democracy if the government is making all the decision by itself and the citizens are not involved in the decision making process of the government. So Parliament is a medium which enables the citizens to express their thoughts, to express their ideas, their aspirations to the government, and thus Parliament occupies a special position as the key feature of the Indian Constitution, and it is a symbol of democracy in our country. And secondly, we are going to have a closer look at the lawmaking, at the procedure involved in lawmaking. So laws aren't the new things for you, because in your daily life you may come across many laws, such as those which specify the age of marriage in our country, which specify the age of vote in our country, and many laws related to purchasing and selling of property. In this chapter, we are going to find out how new laws are made and could there be any unpopular or controversial law, and if a parliament makes a law which is in violation of the fundamental rights of the common citizen, then what would the citizen do in such circumstances? So let's begin our chapter with the first topic, which is why should people decide? So as we all know that our country India got its independence on 15th August 1947. Before that, India was under British rule. It was under colonial rule, and during this period the people used to live in fear of the British government. They did not like the decisions of the British government but had to follow them because of the fear of the British government. And the British government was free to make any decision. It used to make arbitrary laws, and the voices of the Indian citizens were ignored, and they were not allowed to participate in the decision making process of the British government. But the situation got changed by the nationalist movement after the formation of the nationalist movement. Many nationalists came forward from different parts of the country, from different sections of the country, and they began openly criticizing the British government. They used to oppose the British government in many ways, and it was noticeable that all the nationalists were from different part of the country. They were from different religion background, from different cultural background, but even then they became united and opposed the British government. So in 1885, the Indian National Congress demanded the right to participate in the decision making process and to discuss budget and to ask questions. And in return to that, in 1909, the Government of India Act allowed some elected representatives, but not all Indians were allowed to vote, nor all Indians were allowed to be participate in the government. So it was a very long and struggleful journey which left no doubts in the minds of the nationalists that when India will be independent, there won't be any arbitrary use of the powers of the country by the government, and the citizens would be having the right to participate in the decision making process of the government, and the government won't do anything whatever it felt like. It would have to be sensitive to the people's need and demand. And after independence, after 15th August 1947, their dreams, their aspiration was made concrete in the Constitution of the India, which laid down the principle of universal adult franchise. So universal adult franchise means that every adult citizen of India would be having the right to vote. So next topic is people and their representatives. So as I have discussed earlier that Democracy won't be any democracy if the citizens are not involved in the decision making process of the government. Because in a democracy, the people are the supreme. It is the people who decides, who selects the government and also decide about its functioning. And it is very important to have the consent, to have the idea of consent, which means the desire, the approval and the participation of the people. And it also means that if any work is has to be done, then it has to be done in the desire of the people, it has to be done by the approval of the people, and it has to be done by the participation of the people. But if we come to a point that how the citizens will choose their government, so one way of doing this is that through election. The Lok Sabha election is held after every 5 years. Our country, India, is divided into numerous constituencies, and from each constituency, the people will choose their representatives, and these representatives will be the members of parliament. And after the election, a list will be prepared showing the number of MPs belonging to different political parties, and the political party having being in majority will form the government. And for being in majority, the political party has to secure at least half the number of the seats, which means 272 seats, at least 272 seats. But sometimes and often recently, any single party is not able to secure 272 seats. So what will happen in such circumstances? Many political party will form a kind of group, and this type of government will be called coalition government. So the next topic is the role of the parliament. So parliament is a group of elected representatives. Those representatives who are elected by the common citizens of India. So thus parliament has the immense power, and the parliament has two houses. First is Lok Sabha and second is Rajya Sabha. So Lok Sabha has total strength of 545 members, out of which 543 are elected by the common citizens of India and 2 are nominated by the president. And Rajya Sabha has total strength of 245 members, out of which 233 are elected by the members of Lok Sabha and 12 members are nominated by the president. So in the previous topic we have seen that how these members are elected, but after election, after becoming the member of these houses, they have to perform many functions, so which are to select the national government. So one of the most important function of the Lok Sabha is to select the executive. The executive is a group of people who are responsible for implementing the decision made by the parliament. And when we say the term government, we usually refer to executive. After the election, the member of the ruling party will choose their leader, and that leader will be the prime minister of our country. And at present time, Mr. Narendra Modi is the prime minister of our country. And after the election, the PM will choose different ministers to work with her in implementing the decision made by the parliament. And then these ministers will be given different spheres of the government functioning like education, finance, health, etc. And one of the functions of the Rajya Sabha is to modify the bill which has to be passed through it for becoming a law. Any bill has to pass through the Rajya Sabha for becoming a law, and it can also initiate the legislation. So next function of the parliament is to control, guide and inform the government. So the members of the parliament do not meet daily. They meet in session, and the session begins with a question hour. And during this period, the members of the opposition party will ask questions from the ruling party. They will ask questions about the its shortcomings, and can also elect information about its working. And in this way, it controls the government. Because if the government is doing any wrong thing, it is misusing the power, then the opposition is having the right to ask questions. And secondly, it also guides and informs the government, because it can also highlight the various issues of the common citizens of India. It can also highlight the problems faced by the citizens of India, and in this way it controls, guides and informs the government. So it is a very critical aspect of the Indian democracy. So next topic is How do new laws come about? So Parliament is in charge of making law. So the Parliament has to be sensitive to the problems faced by the citizens. Many parts of the country, sometimes many sections of the country came forward, raised their voice for any particular laws. They raised their voice by different forms such as radio broadcasts, newspaper editors, TV channels, etc. Such an Take an example of domestic violence issue. The issue of domestic violence in which the women were beaten at home. The women include the wives, the mothers, the daughters, the daughter-in-laws. They were beaten and sexually abused. They were sexually abused. They were physically and verbally abused also. In 1990, throughout the country, the people wanted that a bill should be passed to protect the women against domestic violence. And in 1999, a group of lawyers drafted the bill, and this bill was introduced in the parliament in 2002, but it did not fulfill the need of the women. And again, the women organization made amendments to this bill, and this bill was reintroduced in 2005, and the Protection of Women Against Domestic Violence Act came into effect in 2006. It provided relief to the women against domestic violence, and it also shows that women has a right to live in a shared household, and they can also get monetary relief to meet their expenses such as medical costs. So our next topic is unpopular and controversial laws. So sometimes a law can be valid and legal, but it can continue to be unacceptable and unpopular by the citizen because they think that the intention behind the law is unfair. And in such situation, they can criticize the law openly. They can hold public meetings. They can inform it to the newspaper channels. They can inform it to the TV news channels. They can make radio broadcast, etc. The children too can write letters to the newspapers, letters to the prime minister, to other minister, and even to the president if they think that the law is wrong. The children cannot vote before the age of 18, but they can raise their voice before the age of 18. And sometimes the law seems to favor one group and disregards the other. And in such situation, the people can go to the court, and the court has the power to cancel the law. It means that government can't do anything by itself, and parliament is can't do anything by itself. It has to be under the control of the people of the India, under the control of the citizen of the India. So this was the last topic of this chapter. I have covered all the topics and subtopics. So thank you very much.